Hi everyone and welcome to a brand new video here on the channel, and I thought I'd take today as an opportunity to talk through how I made our first piece of merchandise. And before I go any further, I just need to, again, I know I'm saying it a lot recently, but a massive thank you for purchasing the badges and making us sell out of the badges in under 24 hours. When we first put them out, we've already had orders for the next batch that are arriving, which are arriving this week. So as soon as we get them, we will send them out. So you are still able to pre-order the badges on the website, on the Etsy store. We will always have badges. We're always going to try and have badges for you to buy. So if we ever sell out and they've gone to pre-order, I will always, once the order comes through, send an email letting you know that we've got another batch coming, or if we've already got them, you won't get an email and they'll be sent straight to you. Yeah, the badges, if you want to purchase them, this is what they look like when they're on. You can purchase the badges on our Etsy store. You can just search So Helena and Martyn, or I'll put an I in one of the corners, and the description will also be in the description box as well. We are sending these to anywhere in the world. We're sending them international, to Europe, and also here in the UK, of course. So you can get your hands on them no matter where in the world you are. And thank you again for all of your support. So how did I actually create the badges? The reason I want to do this video is because I relied heavily on Ellis Woolley, who gave me advice on how to put the badges together, what sites to use, and also how to do the backing cards for the badges. And if you were thinking at some point of making your own bits of merchandise, I thought this might be helpful to you. So the way that I did the badges, first of all, we realised we wanted to have it all around Slinkeh Dawwgg, and we wanted to include our personas in it as well. But I didn't want to use actual photographs. I wanted to create cartoon versions of us, because our big love is Disney and watching the Disney animated films. I just wanted to create us as if we were Disney characters. So I found two photos from our Orlando trip from last year, and you can find all of those vlogs on the channel if you want to check them out. And I just started sketching from the photos I was looking at. So this is the photo that I looked at for Helena, and then from the photo I sketched out a drawing. So I sketched everything out at first just on normal paper, just sat at my desk. So this was the first version of Helena, and I was quite happy with it, and I posted it on Instagram, just how I was getting on. And when I posted them on Instagram, that was just me putting them up there. I didn't think we were actually going to do anything with them. So that was the first one. And then I found a photo of myself, which I'll put in, and then I started sketching myself, and I was doing the technique of drawing the circles and drawing the eyeline and drawing where the nose and the mouth would be. And this was the version of me that I created. So we had this version of me and we had this version of Helena. So the sizes are quite different. So I was quite happy with how I'd done this one, and I thought this had a better feel to it. So I thought, oh, sorry Helena, I'm going to have to let you go, and I'm going to have to create a new one that's sort of the same size and has the same similar sort of feel. So that's when I sketched this one. So obviously quite a difference between the previous Helena drawing and this one. You'll notice that the top of the ears are missing. That actually, because I'd drawn it a lot bigger, I had to then put it over 2 pages. So then I had that, and then I thought, well, hang on a minute, there's something missing, and that's Slinkeh Dawwgg. So then I hand drew Slinkeh Dawwgg. So there you go, we've got the 3 photos, and then what I did is I laid them out on a table so that I sort of had a bit of a design. I'll try and show you what I did just by holding it up to the camera. So this is what I sort of did. So then I knew where the placing was going to be for the different images. But then I was like, well, how do I put them onto the computer? So I scanned them all into the computer, and then I thought, well, I need a bit of digital software, free digital design software. So I did a bit of searching on the internet, and I found a bit of software called Critter, or Kriter, I think you can say it many different ways. And it's a free bit of software that you can download, but you can make a donation. So I thought, perfect. So I downloaded that, and I had no experience whatsoever in this software. I've had no experience in digital design software. We did graphic design when I was in school, but nothing to this degree. So I opened Project, I got the scans of the drawings that I'd done, I placed them onto the canvas, and then what I did essentially was I created a new layer and then just copied over the drawing. So I was just tracing the original drawing. So I tried doing it freehand, I tried using the straight line tool, but it just wasn't looking quite right. So then in the end, I used the Bezier curve tool. But the first time that I did the design, I wasn't quite sure on how to use it properly. So I did the whole design, put Slinkeh Dawwgg in the middle, then I coloured it in, which was quite therapeutic actually. I love colouring books. So I enjoyed doing that. And then I exported it and looked at it, and I thought, right, so this is it. I'll show it on the camera. It looks okay, and maybe could have got away with it, but I just felt like I could do it a lot better. So I thought, well, can I just alter that one? And in the end, I thought, no, I can't. I've just got to start from scratch. So I sent that first copy to Helena, and Helena really liked it. And I thought, right, okay, so we've got our design. Just want to get a bit better at it. Also, the colours. So the colours match the colours that are in the photos, except for my t-shirt, which in the original photo is black and white. I wanted it to be blue, so that it was a solid colour, and that it represented one of my favourite t-shirts, which is my Ohana t-shirt. And also the background, I always wanted it to be orange, because in those Walt Disney World Orlando vlogs, we always used to do our intros from the orange wall that was at the villa. And if you look at that first version of the badge design, the orange is very dark, it's very strong, it almost draws your attention away from what's happening in the foreground. And also there are a few things that just are a little bit strange. So Helena's eyebrows, for example, I think I put this photo up onto Instagram very briefly on a stories, and somebody said that Helena looks a bit angry because of the way that the eyebrows, they're not curved, they're very straight. So I took that into account and changed that. If you look at my eyes, they're a very weird shape indeed. I knew that I wanted to have the same sort of shaped eyes on Helena and on myself, so I needed to work on that. Also the colours of the eyes, it's all little things, but they all add to the final design. So the colours of the eyes I thought looked a bit odd, just being solid black, a bit like a shark. And so I thought, right, this all needs to be smoother, it all needs to be better. So I went back and started from scratch. And this time I used the Bezier tool to greater effect. I knew how to curve the edges, and I spent a lot of time really connecting all of the separate Bezier drawings that I did, so that it all looks like it's one smooth motion. And I used the fine liner tool, fine liner pen, to make it look as if it had all been hand drawn. So what I did with the eyes to get those better, I would draw one eye out, then I would copy it and then move it over to the other side, and so that way they were identical. With the eyes as well, I felt like they needed colour, so I made my eyes blue, I made Helena's eyes brown, but then it looked even stranger, and realised that they need pupils. From the original design, I got rid of a lot of the lines and wrinkles on the face. I took those out. I really messed about with that shade of orange until it was at a level where I thought, that's not distracting, and it still looks quite similar to the wall that we had in Orlando. And then all that was left with the design was the Slinkeh Dawwgg. And it's weird, it was like, how many W's do I put in and how many G's do I put in? And the way I worked that out is just what looked right in the end. So it was 2 W's and 2 G's. And to start off with, it was pretty plain. It was just normal font, and the font was 2 different colours. But it didn't really jump out at you. And then I remembered a t-shirt that I saw quite a few years ago that had "Cool Story Bro" on it, but it was in the Toy Story logo design. So I thought, oh, the Slinkeh Dawwgg might look quite nice as the Toy Story logo. And obviously it's a link to my favourite franchise of all time, favourite series of films, Toy Story. And that's how that came about. Messed with it a bit. It was, so like the Slinky and the dog, I messed about with the sizes of those. All the time I was sending it back to Helena and saying, what do you think? And Helena would say, oh, could you make that a little bit bigger? And I'd be like, yes. And then I'd send it back, and then we'd get the okay, the point where we were both happy with it. And then we had the final design. And then I was like, well, how do I actually make a badge? So I got in touch with Ellis, and Ellis told me about a website called Cameloon, which is where I got the badges from. So this website allows you to pick the size of the badges, the finish of the badges. So we went for a glossy finish on one size. It'll ask you what shape of badge you want, what kind of back of the badge that you want. So we went with pin back for the moment. So lots of different things that it asks you about in terms of your badge. Obviously, all of this sort of adds to the cost of the badge, and then how many you want to order, the quantity you want to order, which again greatly impacts how much you're paying for them. So we just decided on 50 because we didn't know how many we're going to sell. And then so what it allows you to do then is allows you to upload your design and put it on the badge and see what it's going to look like on the badge. And originally it didn't fit all the way. The sort of bottom of the design ended here at the chest, and then the rest of the badge was just blank, and I thought, I can't do that, and I also don't want the background colour to just be there because it'll look a bit strange. I wanted our bodies to fill the entire badge. So I then had to go back into Critter and create an A4 version of the design, which just meant lengthening our bodies, bringing down how long our t-shirts were, which looks a bit odd when you look at it here because we haven't got any arms. But on the design, it looks absolutely fine. So that's what I did, and then it fit perfectly on the badge. I sent that through, that was then ordered, and I got them, I did it express delivery, which meant that it would get to you in a week. So a week later, got those badges, but in the meantime, I also remembered ordering our Sophie and Dave pin badge, the chip one, and it came on a lovely backing card. And I thought, oh, what size will I need for that? So again, I went to Ellis, who's got a website of her own store, which I'll put in the description below. And Ellis told me that a standard business card is perfect for one of those badges. And it was. For a 32mm badge, it was ideal. I created a circle in the middle where you could put the badge. I then put the Helena Martyn logo at the top. I couldn't resist putting in Slinkeh Dawwgg's catchphrase, which is "Golly Bob Howdy." But I had to research for so long whether it was godly, or whether it was "Golly Bob Howdy." It's on forums everywhere. It's like nobody knows exactly what he says. But I went with "Golly Bob Howdy." I thought I'd put that in there. Obviously the link to the YouTube page and the description of the product, and also the Slinkeh Dawwgg logo. So I ordered the backing cards, and in Critter I did the design for the backing cards, and I also made sure that the canvas was the same size as the business card, because when you upload, so it was printed.com that I uploaded the backing card design to, and that's where I got the backing cards from, the business cards, so printed.com. But if you upload in the wrong size, it'll say we can't do that, you're going to have to resize your image and upload it again. So to try and not lose any like pixels or anything like that, I changed the size of the canvas in Critter, which is 85mm by 55mm, and then that allowed me to upload the design no problem and have those printed. And with Cameloon, the order actually arrived a day before they were meant to come. So I was very surprised and very happy with how Cameloon and also printed.com did with their delivery service. They were great to use, and I'll just keep repeating the orders every time we need them. Once I got both together, it was then up to me to add the pin badges to the backings. And I was so worried because I only had 50 of these backing cards, and I needed to make sure I didn't ruin any. So what I would do is I'd get the pin badge, I would then press it onto the backing card, and when I took it off, it would show me where the indent was, and I'd then use a drawing pin, put in 2 holes, and then that allowed me to add in the pin badge. Once that was done, I took a picture because I was very happy with my handiwork. So here's the picture of all of them done and on the bed. And then I also needed to order some envelopes. So I then got the envelopes, and they were padded envelopes with some bubble wrap inside, and these were from Amazon, and for £100, £13.56. And if you go to the post office, they are classed as a large letter, just so you can figure out all of your postage. I then created the Etsy page, had to create a store name, had to create a description of the product, how many were going to be sold, Etsy does take some fees from you as well. It'll take a transaction fee, a processing fee, there's a listing fee as well, and also VAT comes off. So there is some money that goes to Etsy as well for uploading your item, but I think that's fair really for using their service in order to sell our item. And that's how we created our first ever button badges. And we are thrilled with the response that they have had. Thank you so much to everybody that has bought one and everyone that is displaying them proudly and spreading the word on the So Helena Martyn YouTube channel. It means a lot. You can pre-order the badges if they have sold out, but if they're back in stock, you can order them anyway. You'll always be able to order them. I'll just let you know if we are waiting on the next batch. And every time you order, we will write a personalised message on the back of the business card, the backing card. So every single one, all of the 50 that I first did, I created a special message. And Etsy allows you to write something as well. So when you make the order, just put a little comment to us, say who the pin badge is for, just so I don't put any wrong names in case they are gifts for people. And also put anything that you'd like me to maybe write on the back. It's always handy knowing somebody's favourite film, because I love to write Disney quotes on the back of the cards. And if you have received a badge from us, and if it does have a quote on the back, because I don't write down where the quote is from, then in the description box, write down the quote that you had on the back of your card, and then which movie it was from. Now, I didn't put on every single card a quote, and that's just because I ran out of room if I was writing a personalised message, but I did try and include on the majority. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was a bit of a helpful insight if you want to create your own bits of merchandise, and if you just wanted a bit of a glimpse behind the scenes into how we made our first bit of merchandise. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back in another video very soon, and all that's left to say is bye. Slinkeh Dawwgg.